Hi friends, Phaedra the Fairy Tale Shoe Queen here from After Ever After Shoes, and today I want to bring you 3 tips which will help you in the upcoming summer months, and it can be used at other times in the year. And I have tried all 3 of these tips for a long time and I promise you they work. So let's jump in. Tip number 1 is when shopping for shoes, for parties, graduations, baptisms, christenings, any event you can think of which tends to come up in the summer, especially around weddings because it's just lovely weather. So what I do is go into a shop and take the shoe that I'm interested in. I take it off the shelf, away from the marketing, the colours, the banners, all the other similar shoes, and I put it on the floor or a chair or just something away from the shelf, and I turn my back to it. So I don't want the marketing to influence me, because at the end of the day, that is why companies spend so much money on it, is because that's what talks you into buying something. And that's great because sometimes you need some inspiration, but at other times you end up buying something where you don't like the colour, you don't like the shape, or you get it home and the green doesn't look quite the same with the dress that you're wearing, and then it just becomes a big faff. You either have to go and return things or you keep it anyway, and why do it? It's much easier to take the shoe away from everything, not buying it, but off the shelf, and then looking at it, you can fully appreciate how it will act in real life. Tip number 2 is quite simply something you can use not just when you're wearing shoes. So heat is horrible. I do not get on with heat. I am a winter baby. I honestly cannot stand it. It makes me feel uncomfortable and icky and gross all the time. And I am a normal woman. So I have boobs and hips and thighs, and they rub together in the heat, and the chafing is horrible and it hurts. Like, I don't think people fully don't appreciate how heat affects people who have a normal body shape. So this works for not just making your shoes more comfortable, and it is liquid talcum powder. So if you don't know what it looks like, it's like this. This is the Little Angels one from Asda's, and it's literally, it's meant for babies. It's super good for your skin, hyperallergenic. Cost about 99p, this one. And what it is it's essentially like the normal, instead of having the normal powder you would use on a baby, it's just a liquid instead. Makes it a bit easier to apply and you don't have all that horrible dust. So what I do is, when I'm wearing sandals or wedges or anything particularly hard, so like Birkenstocks are a good example, where it's like a really hard sole and you've got that really thick piece of leather or plastic or suede which is in between your big toe and your second toe, and that tends to be where you get the blister, or on the side of your foot, which is equally annoying and makes it impossible to walk. So liquid talcum powder dries everything out and makes your skin just move a bit softer and easier. So if you pop a bit before you go out, pop it on the bits that you know are going to chafe, so the bit in between your toes, the side of your foot. I personally put it on my inner thighs when I'm wearing dresses outside, or I put it like on the crux of my elbow and things, and it really does help. It really makes everything a bit more comfortable and it stops the rub. It also dries really quickly, so you don't have to worry about it messing anything up with your shoes. So, tip number 3 is gel inserts. You have probably seen everywhere in Superdrug, Boots, any pharmacist shoe shop, they are always saying that you should get those gel insoles, which you put at the ball of the foot or at the heel. So, for example, they look a bit like this, and they're sticky. You stick them to the back to make it more comfortable, or you stick them in the toe and it cushions your foot and it makes it easier to walk in heels for longer. So these are, I've used them a lot and it really does work. But a good way to try and extend that, particularly in the summer, is if you put them in the freezer before you go out. So it could be an hour or two. I mean, if you really want, you can leave it in there for a day or two. It doesn't actually damage them because it's liquid inside the silicone anyway. And it cools your foot down, which is always nice when if you're getting blisters or if you've been walking for a long time. So it does work. It lasts a lot longer than if you just had them as they are straight out of the packet. And I think that is it. So we shall do a really quick recap. Tip number 1 was, when buying shoes, take them away from the marketing and all of the noise and look at them on their own so you can fully appreciate what they will look like in real life. Tip number 2 was liquid talcum powder for sandals or any area of your body that chafes in the heat from being rubbed together. And then the final tip number 3 is the gel insoles. You can buy them anywhere, pop them in the freezer before you go out, and it should help. And that's it. So thank you for listening, and remember that impossible is just another kind of possible.